Amy, thank you for coming on. I am so pumped up. I've been really looking forward to this interview with you. So thank you for coming.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, and I am thrilled to have this conversation, Stephanie.
I feel like you have a completely different way of looking at the aesthetics industry. And if you were to describe your viewpoint in a few sentences, what would you say?
My viewpoint in a few sentences. Oh, that's a really, really good question. I feel like, and I think, in my interesting, unique point of view, is that an esthetician is a guide for someone's self image, for their energy, for their lifestyle, and their skin. And it's my mission to put the esthetician back in the rightful position as her clients or his clients or their clients' most trusted advisor and guide, and really put us back in the position of being the expert, restoring the crown. What does that mean about
Yeah.
restoring the crown? There was a time when the esthetician really, we had a red velvet rope. People had to come to us to get special products. They had to come to us to get, they had to come to us. We knew more than they did. And
Mm-hmm.
we were the undisputed expert.
Yeah.
And that changed with the internet, right? So it's been about a 15-year like change, but that changed with the internet when the so-called professional skincare industry went direct to consumer. Now the client could go and get their product from someone else. And then the rise of social media and the skinfluencer and the biohackers and the wellness girlies and the MLMs and ad nauseum, right? Now we have the attention span totally fragmented where
Mm-hmm.
our client has she's very sophisticated, she has a lot of knowledge, and she's not really coming in anymore to be guided. She's coming in for a service, and we've always been technicians, but now what I see is that we have really been relegated to the role as a technician. And something that I say that is really polarizing and triggering, I have to say it, is I feel like we became face waitresses, right? So
Mm.
we came in, we're taking orders off a menu. We have this giant menu, microneedling and dermaplaning and the anti-aging facial and the red light facial and the microcurrent facial and all the trending things, face sculpting, every like holistic people have their like bloated menu. The anti-agers have their bloated menu. Everybody has this like long list of, it's either lymphatic or face sculpting, whatever the trends are. We've got this big menu. The client comes in, she's price shopping because she can't tell a difference between provider. Everybody looks the same, and we've lost our crown. We lost the position as the expert
Mm.
in the eyes of our client. I'm an expert at the psychographics of a facial client. I know exactly what she thinks because I served her. I was a client facing esthetician first and foremost. That was my heart. I had a mission. I wanted to shift and uplift how she felt about herself when she looked in the mirror
Mm-hmm.
and help her call back her power from the beauty standards.
So is that where your perspective about this facial ritual movement, is that where it kind of came from, because you saw that things were shifting and you're like, we need a new way of looking at ourselves and at the industry and at our clients?
Yeah, I that's part of it. So we talked before we hit record a little bit about how I had a big successful spa, and it was through the grace of having a big life circumstance. I call it God hit me on the head and made it, I had to make a change. And when I went and closed my spa and I became a solo esthetician in a beautiful little studio on my property that my husband built, and I could hear myself think, I got rid of my whole entire menu and I had one ritual. And I went into the Wayback Machine and I got screenshots of that website. I was always really into branding as well. And it says, once you step into my studio, there's no decisions to make. Your every need is in my hand. I will lead you through an experience with frequencies, intention. I will work your, I mean, just like It was weird because this was 10 years ago,
Mm.
and like that stuff was real weird back then.
Yeah.
Now it's all trending, right?
Yeah, a little
But
bit of the
just
woo-woo stuff.
a little bit of the woo-woo stuff, but I have the science behind it. So it's not woo-woo
Mm.
to me. That's
Yeah.
where the quantum beauty comes in. But a ritual, the only difference between a ritual and a routine is intention. And so the facial ritual is really about branding a signature experience. And the esthetician listening to this might be like, well, I already have a signature facial. I already have a signature facial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got it priced at $150 and you're just kitchen sinking it and you haven't made a clear transformation outcome for your client and you haven't positioned it as so valuable that it could replace a $1,500 series of laser treatments, a vial of Juvederm, right? So those things are like in the thousands of dollars. I was charging $195 for a facial in a rural area 10 years ago, and I'm still seeing these signature facials out there at 150 and below. That's got to end. We cannot make it on that. We have to shift the value proposition for the client. And so
Right.
a facial ritual is really about connecting the client in with her spirit and her skin, because the fact of the matter is, if we go behind like beautiful skin, why do we want beautiful skin? So that we can stay attractive to our mate, so that we can get the job, so that we can look in the mirror and love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
With all the pop psychology and all the stuff that's we know now about like the self-image and everything, we have got to address that inside of the facial. If we keep it on the surface, we're not going to be able to get highly paid.
Mm. So how do we go? I've got so many questions about this facial
Okay, good.
ritual, but my first question is like, how do we go deeper? Like, how do we not just keep it surface level and say like, oh, now I'm going to do this cleansing, now I'm going to do this exfoliation, now I'm going to do like, how do we make it connect more with how our clients is feeling, their confidence, their
Mm.
happiness, their self-love?
Right. And we want to be careful with this because we're not psychologists and we're not
Mm-hmm.
diagnosing. But do you see the mirror behind me? Let's see. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay. So the mirror. Isn't beauty about the mirror? How do we know we're beautiful? How would we know we're beautiful if we didn't have a mirror? The mirror of other people's reactions towards us, the mirror of how we feel. So I've discovered there are three mirrors that every woman looks in: the physical mirror, which she has been taught to fear. There's a mirror of how she thinks that she should look, right? When you see somebody post a picture of you from a family birthday party on Facebook without your permission, and you were like, I don't look like that.
Mm-hmm.
That mirror, everybody knows what I'm talking about. And then
Yeah.
there's the mirror of how we think other people perceive us, which is so they're all related. So the first thing of how we go deeper is within the consultation. This is not easy. Everybody can try it. I'm going to give like a really good prompt that you can take home to your clients and just try it today. I do not recommend having all of your consultation in digital forms and then just trying to turn and burn and scrub and rub
Mm-hmm.
through like seven people. Take it digitally if you want, but sit heart to heart with her and then hand her the mirror and say, what big result would you like to create with me today? And she's gonna tell you something important about how she feels about herself.
Yeah.
And that is the seed of what we're addressing, because so many of us have beauty dysmorphia, especially because of the social media filters. And um, if we can help her see herself more clearly and in a whole new light, it's literally worth so much. I
Yeah.
helped one of my last uh, consumer clients replace an $85,000 facelift with this work. So I do a lot of mirror work within the context of how I teach, because that is the missing ingredient. No one's asking that. And how I also came to this is I told you that I was struggling in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was doing Botox because a nurse practitioner in my area had decided that, oh, this is a great stream of income. And she wanted to get with all of my clients. So she's like, oh, you need this, right? And so she was giving it to me, but she wasn't very good at it. And it started depressing my eyebrow.
Oh no.
And so I started getting all these wrinkles around my eyes in my 40s.
Because of
And
the Botox?
because of the Botox, and you can even see there's still an asymmetry. Look, it's way lower. It's permanently
Mm.
depressed. So I found myself in the office of a plastic surgeon asking her why my eyes were all wrinkled around. And I really went there as a vanity appointment. I wanted her to be like, "You're literally beautiful. Here's a new eye cream and a little
Yeah.
eye treatment or something." She's like, "No, you're a candidate for a blepharoplasty, and it'll be $7,500." And she
Oh
handed
my
me the
gosh.
thing.
Yeah.
And I just like, first of all, I didn't want to spend $7,500. So that woke me up, but I was pissed. So that kind of like, I thought back, I was in the car, like slumped over, and I was like, I had to drive home because it was 2 hours away from where I live. And I was just like, no, this is not, something is rotten in Denmark. And I was thought to myself, she never handed me a mirror to ask me what I saw.
Mm.
She never asked me to explain what I was experiencing. If she had, she might have been like, "Oh, the Botox is depressing your eyebrow. Quit that.
Yeah.
Come and see me in 6 months." And maybe she didn't have my best interests at heart.
Yeah.
If you truly have your client's best interests at heart, and especially on that first time consultation, which is the first time facial, do not sell them product unless they absolutely need it. Have them
Mm.
bring in all of their product, wardrobe it for them, show them where the holes are based on what their goals are, and then get their trust. And then you have a client for a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So we need to listen to clients. We need to hold up the mirror to them both figuratively and literally of like, what do you see? Let's get in touch with how you actually feel, not just surface level. And then what else do we need to do to create this facial ritual? Because you said if you're doing a $150 signature facial, it's not a ritual. We need to raise our prices, which means that we're putting more into it, or what would that actually look like?
No, a lot of times it's less. So this brings in consciousness. So when we say intention, what does that mean to everyone listening? Intention is awareness and a direction. You're saying, I intend this.
Yeah.
I'm putting it into the reality matrix. I'm choosing. I'm intending,
Yeah.
right? So a ritual is I am, which is the I am presence. It's not an affirmation. I am choosing to experience radiant skin, radiant energy, whatever the client wants to choose. You help her choose an outcome. We get words that represent what she's willing to experience and what she's
Mm-hmm.
willing to release in order to receive the big result. Then inside of the facial, there is guided meditation activation that like leads her through. Like we're really like leading her through. You can do all of like the facial massage. Again, everything is in furtherance of what she's willing to release and what she's willing to receive. Very simple. LED light, I've been working with LED light for 15 years and I have discovered something that nobody in the industry has. I'm a weird mad scientist. I can't help it. And that is that LED light actually is a tool for consciousness
Mm.
because it stimulates the mitochondria, and the mitochondria are literally the battery pack of our cell, but they're also the connection to our epigenetics because we inherit all of the mitochondria from our mother. And so, as you can imagine, beauty beliefs are passed down through the mother. Okay,
Okay.
so there's a whole consciousness connection there. And also, there's things that you can do to make the light absorb even more deeply. Let me just give you a little taste of the energy. So, everybody drop into your center, which means just call yourself back into your body.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
I'll
multitasking
close my eyes.
or, or driving, even if you're driving, just allow my words to wash over you like water through bricks. Imagine that you have an LED light shining on your face and you're relaxing on a massage table, completely supported, completely safe, completely held. And now allow that frequency of light to magnify and intensify, to activate and to penetrate down through all the layers, all the levels, all the lifetimes, all the cells, the molecules in the mitochondria, returning them all back to their original program of perfection now. Deep breath. And so, do you see how I can activate energy very, very intently, quickly? We would have layered in her specific release and receive words within that activation. And she's now going to have like an experience. Now,
Mm.
the music is not random songs. We've coded the music to be almost like a theater. Like, you know how some songs rise and some,
Yeah.
you're going to the theater and you're feeling something. So everything is designed to help her like feel and release and be connected into the energetics.
I love that.
So yeah, so that's what makes a ritual.
I also love that you're empowering estheticians to empower their clients to do stuff at home, not just like pushing skincare ingredients at them, but being like, you can do your own rituals and routines at home. You don't necessarily need to come to me all the time.
Yeah, I want to get the esthetician away from the idea that we have to be a technician 24/7.
Yeah.
And then the facial becomes this very powerful tool. But then I teach you how to have your own signature workshop, how to do a
Mm-hmm.
digital product,
Yeah.
how to do an online program, how to have a high ticket program. We talked a little bit about the woo woo, maybe before we hit record.
Yeah.
This isn't woo woo anymore. Their Nobel Prize was just given to the scientist that continued Einstein's work and proved that reality is non local, it's perception. We are creating reality with our perceptions, and that is science now. Intention is science, energy is science. We have a biofield, a measurable biofield, and bioenergetics is science now. And if we don't ride that wave, there's a wellness coach and a biohacker that will.
Yeah. So, how, because you say it's not woo woo, it's science, and I get that. And I'm going to do that research afterwards because I'm curious. I didn't know about the Nobel Prize person who's continuing on Einstein's work, but I want to do some more research about that. It still sounds woo woo, even if it's not. And I think the point is that a lot of estheticians, even if they believe in this, because I feel like estheticians are innately in tune to that kind of energy. Maybe they're
Totally.
worried that their clients are not going to buy it. Maybe they're worried that their clients are just like, all about
Absolutely.
the practical skincare ingredients and just get in, get out, get her
Yep.
done. I want to see that. How do they start? What would you say to someone who is like, I don't think my clients are going to be into that?
Well, you don't lead with it. We have to embody it and just put it inside of the facial with I do a symbol, a big energetic symbol on the full body. I did that guided meditation. It was so quick. It didn't even sound too woo woo. It's just like
No, it didn't
you
sound
could
woo
feel
woo.
it in your
No.
body, right? So we can't lead with it. We can't lead with Einstein. We can't lead with the reality is not local. We
Yeah.
can't lead with any of that. And the client, the high ticket, I call her the high value client. She's not gonna, you can't lead with it. She's not gonna bite with that. How we get there is we learn some energetics. We learn some basic mirror techniques in the consultation. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the model of aesthetics and realize that we're not just technicians trading time for money, that our therapeutic touch and our guidance is really valuable. So now the facial becomes, depending on where you're at and where your money mindset is and how much value you can hold and how much like authority you can hold, becomes $350. Okay? Because that client knows how much it's saving her in laser treatments,
Mm-hmm.
injections, and all the things that cost thousands. She knows what it's costing her not to get it. continuing to not love who and what she sees in the mirror. So we've got an internal and an external result. And so we reposition the facial as that. We help her set up, fantastic, effective skincare routines and rituals at home. Then we invite her into a workshop where she gets to learn something even more, like maybe how to, do an advanced ritual at home. Then we invite her into perhaps something called the light lift, for instance, where she learns how to release up to 10 visible years without injections or inflammatory treatments. Inflammation is a big buzzword right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big faction of women that are not being served who don't want to get plastic surgery or injections. They
Yeah.
don't want to look like a caricature, and they want to retain their natural beauty, and they have money. So if we continue to serve the bottom of the lowest common denominator, and we're just constantly dermaplaning and microneedling and just giving quick fixes, we're ignoring that there is this pool of women that want to be served. They're going to retreats, they're going to Joe Dispenza, they're
Mm-hmm.
meditating, they're drinking methylene blue, they're doing bioidentical hormones, they're spending money, and we can serve them.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
love that you're so specific about who that person is. You've served them, you've spent a lot of time thinking about who that client is. And I'm curious about the difference between different estheticians and who that client is for them. Because the beauty ritual is different for every esthetician. You're teaching estheticians how to dig deep inside themselves and create a ritual that is true to who they are, right? It's not just a copy paste thing.
Well, I have a energetic facial blueprint, which is my award-winning facial that
Yeah.
has the consultation, there's a beginning meditation, the music strategy, the energetic activation, and then it's like if you were to get a pattern and you wanted to get a couture dress, and then they would cut it and sew it and put their own you could choose your own materials and choose your own finishes. So I teach the blueprint, and then if you do facial sculpting, or if you love microcurrent, or if
Mm-hmm.
there's a special thing that's your thing, you plug that in. And so right now in the program that I'm just finishing up, a lot of times, especially because I tend to serve an esthetician who's been in business for a while and is just completely burnt out,
Mm-hmm.
she's realizing, oh, I do all these special things, but I never thought I could get paid for it. And
Right.
so she takes, maybe she likes this part of the facial. I just give her the blueprint, and then yeah, she digs deep and puts her own stamp and flavor on it. But the most important thing is she's branding it. There's like this through line, and then there's the follow up where there's a ritual that gets sent home with them,
Yeah.
and then they're putting it on their bathroom mirror, and they're seeing your brand, and they're telling their friends, my I don't know what happened in there, but I looked in the mirror and I looked 10 years younger.
Yeah.
Because I want to tell you a secret, Stephanie, and I want to tell everybody a secret. This has been suppressed from the beauty industry. I wonder why. A multi-trillion dollar industry. Our self-image, which everyone has heard about. Oh, we have a self-image. It's like, what is it? How much value we have? Yes, that's part of it. But it's a part of our subconscious that is like a thermostat. It controls our biology. It's the biology of belief, right? Have you ever heard of the biology of belief? Bruce Lipton. It
I
says
haven't
that
heard of it, but I'm curious what
so
it
it's
is.
it says that our genetics, it's not a deterministic, genetics are not deterministic. It's our environment, it's our thoughts and our beliefs about ourselves that we have an epigenome. So the epigenetics is about how we believe about ourselves. So that's kind of high level. But at the low level, our self image acts as a set point and a reprogrammable thermostat. So if you update how you feel that you look and what you think you look like on the inside, that shows on the outside. So when I was saying down through all the layers, the levels, the lifetimes, the cells, the molecules, and the mitochondria,
Mm-hmm.
returning it all back to its original program of perfection, I am beginning to help reprogram the subconscious beliefs we have about ourselves that are
Mm,
driving the way that our biology reacts and the way that we think about ourselves when we look in the mirror.
yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think I'm getting a good picture of what it is. And I love the word intention that you use because it's not just the intention of the clients, it's the intention of the esthetician of exactly how they have it's like painting a painting. You've painted the whole painting. Like you know exactly what it's going to look like. You've designed it from start to finish. And you have to be intentional about it. And I love your intentionality of all the little
Thank you.
details.
Thank you.
Do you kind of have to be a little bit of a perfectionist? Like, do you have to be a little bit of a control freak for perfectionist, or can you just say
No,
whatever
no, it's
happens,
just,
happens? Like, I'm gonna go with the flow.
yeah, you have to get out of your way and go with the flow. Flow states are a very specific neuroscience based, we know that a flow state is where magic happens. When you're like, I don't know if have you had a flow state
Oh,
recently?
absolutely. I wouldn't be able to work for myself if I never had flow. I would be
Okay,
in uphill
right?
battle
So
every day.
flow states are like everything is like magic, and
Mm-hmm.
the facial can be a flow, it becomes a flow state. You get out of the way. Yeah, I'm a detail oriented perfectionist only in that I expect to work at my highest level.
Mm-hmm.
But every facial, you get out of the way once you have sort of the framework and the blueprint for it, and you allow for the magic and the flow to happen. So I can actually move the energy in your face virtually, kind of just like what I gave you a little taste of.
Yeah.
And I do these like activations. I don't ever plan them. I just drop into my body, get out of my way. I understand that I channel like a beauty energy. I allow that to come forth. But for an esthetician that's out there in the audience, like, how am I supposed to do this? The thing is you already have the magic. You just probably don't understand how valuable it is what you do. And until you understand that, until that you understand that, like you said, it's like our observations and her observations, like the observer effect and how that like connects together, how your consciousness is directing her consciousness. All you need to do is just sort of open up to the possibility that that's happening. And the
Mm.
next time you touch your client, here's another big tip for everybody. This is kind of scandalous because I know a lot of our clients come to us because they love us and they want to talk to us. All the talking should happen in the consultation, the
Mm.
chit chat. And when you go into the facial, there should be no talking. You should say, okay, let's leave everything that we talked about outside the door, or, let's leave it where it was. And now I want you to bring your attention and your awareness inside of your body
Yep.
and just allow my words to wash over you. If you want to say something, you're welcome to. And if you hear me talking, I'm just guiding you and leading you. And we want to, and I think most people understand we have a subconscious that's directing our whole life.
Yeah.
And so if we can get to the subconscious beauty beliefs, you guys, if this works, that's the other thing. Once you get a little taste of it, you're like, oh. And then, like at the end of my career, Stephanie, I went from having like $50,000 worth of tools in backbar. I had 7 backbar products: an LED light, a microcurrent, various gua sha stones, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like the cost of goods for this goes way, way down. The cost of goods is killing us in this
Yeah.
industry. Like hairstylists, they have their scissors and their shampoos and conditioners and styling products.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
are we are just like, and
The
we are the
machines keep getting more and more expensive.
and we are the customers. We are the customers of the professional skincare brands. We are the client. We
Yeah.
are the customer. We
Meaning
have to
that we
understand.
as estheticians are spending more money than the actual end
Yes,
clients are.
yes. And they are marketing to us. Every protocol is filling their pocket, not ours. We
Mm-hmm.
need to have way less back bars. So this works. The main thing is we don't lead with it necessarily. What we lead with is the strategy of preeminence, which is always having our client's best interests at heart. We will lead with hospitality. We lead with professionalism. We lead with clienteling. And so leading with just the service and the soft skills and the hospitality, handwritten thank you notes, face-to-face consultations. It's high touch, face-to-face, handwritten, serving, maybe sending a box of products and allowing them to send back what they don't want with a
Mm.
prepaid, spending more money on the client experience and less on the back bar type thing. Just basically whatever they tell you in the industry to do, just turn it upside down and do the exact
Do the
opposite.
opposite. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about the other half of the equation, marketing. You were saying you are a marketing maven because you've been doing this for so long and you know all different sides of marketing. And I'm curious for someone who wants to adopt this kind of facial ritual and they really want to, it's kind of revolutionizing their business and they want to just flip the script on their business and they want to attract a different type of clientele from the kind that they have now because their clients currently are maybe price sensitive. They do go for the trends. They're not so much into the energetics and all of that. Maybe they realize like I need new clients. I need more clients who are going to be a good fit for this new type of business I'm building. How do they go
I've
about
got it.
marketing themselves? What
Okay.
are your best strategies, ideas for going out and finding those clients who are right for
I
you?
know exactly how to do. This is a good question. First of all, they need to work with you to have a highly specific ad.
Yeah.
But before we have an ad, and before we do that, the thing that most people are missing in marketing is it's not the vehicle of marketing. There's lots of ways to market, but we cannot market powerfully if we don't have a message.
Mm,
So messaging is the biggest thing that's missing in the esthetician marketing conversation. And
right.
that is about who do you serve? What do you solve? And how do you transform the skin? The only reason why clients search for trends is nobody is speaking to them specifically.
Mm,
So let me give you an example. Um, and I would just save somebody's Facebook post because I was going to do an example of what not to do. And it's like, it was a picture of Image Skincare, and it's like, give the gift of radiant skin. But it never said, for your hardworking mom who pours into everybody else, who, hasn't had time to even get a breath on her own, this facial cleanser will give her that moment of connection, da 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 da. It will help her experience firmer, more radiant skin, and all, in less than 2 minutes a day.
mm-hmm.
So that's another example. So that's one example of messaging.
Yeah.
Another example is if you have more than 5 serums, moisturizers, and creams that you bought from the internet, the drugstore, or an influencer, and you're not using them together with a strategy or a plan, then I know you've never gotten really good results and you're always on the lookout for something better.
Yeah.
The person's subconscious goes like this. She's talking to me. She's
Mm-hmm.
talking directly to me. We have to talk directly. We have to know what beliefs. We have to talk to the subconscious of our client,
Yeah.
of our soul client or ideal client. I call her a high value client. I don't really try to serve everybody. And so I'm successful with whatever marketing I do because I know exactly who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
I think that's the most important thing. And I tell my students all the time in the ad lab that I'm like, you need, you can't have a caption that's written by ChatGPT alone because
Mm-mm,
ChatGPT doesn't know who your clients are. They don't know who you are.
mm-mm.
So I love ChatGPT. I love AI for
Me too.
creation, but for example, in the ad lab, we have a custom bot that I use for my students. And before it writes your captions for you, it asks you like 20 questions, which sounds like a lot, but you need to feed it all this information about your story, your background, your passion and mission, and then your clients. What are they struggling with? You know, the story brand. What are their struggles, their obstacles, their goals, the things that are preventing them? What have they tried before? What position are they in right now? Are they already seeing an esthetician? Have they never been to an esthetician? Do they have something that's shifted in their life recently? Maybe it's like me that they've had a baby recently. Like, you need to know your people so well. And I think that that's something that a lot of people struggle with because they see clients day in and day out, but they don't truly understand, or they do kind of know, but they don't know how to put it into words what's actually happening under the surface, because it's not just about clear skin, it's about all the other stuff that's happening in the background.
So, so true. And I love that you brought up story brand because we have to, you know, just simply put our client as the hero and be her guide
Mm-hmm.
through her skin story. It's like your skin tells the story of your life. Together, let's make it a good one. I
Yeah.
can just come down with like marketing taglines and slogans because I love that, like the psychology of connecting in. But yeah, the bot that you have sounds amazing. The 20 questions AI is amazing. You have to be the director of it. It's a thought partner.
Yes. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, oh, I'm feeling lazy today. Do my homework for me. No, because it doesn't know how to do your homework. It knows how to make things that sound good, but they sound hollow. And people can instantly tell that it's written by an AI because it just doesn't have a soul to it. Put yourself and your own story into your ads too. That's another tip that I have of people. Your client is the hero, and you need to share their inner thoughts and what they're struggling with, what their fears are, their goals are, like in your ads, in your social, in your emails, all of that. But you matter too, because when you can show people that you are on the same journey as them, or that you have been in their shoes before, there's instant trust that's developed.
What we do is really important. We're not going to get replaced by AI skin analysis. We're not going to get replaced by the wellness girlies. We don't need to get replaced by any of these. We have such a special place in in the world, and I want to see this industry rise up. I want to be proud of it. I want to help shift it and uplift it. And I want us to be highly paid because then we can do more. We can have a teen scholarship. We can give back to our local women's shelters. We can actually change the world because when a woman feels beautiful and self sourced and enough, she can go out and show her light. She can show up and shine with her great work in the
Yeah.
world. And what we do is like really, really important.
Yes, absolutely. So, Amy, what advice, just as a last parting words, what advice would you give to an esthetician who is struggling in her business right now? She feels like it's slow, maybe it's slowed down, and she's thinking, is it the economy? What's happening? And she is trying to push that boulder up the hill, but it feels like it gets harder and harder all the time.
Mm.
Whereas she feels like she should be growing, but she's shrinking. What advice would you give to
Mm.
her?
Fantastic question. And I've been there. My advice is to get your notebook, get your computer with whatever your booking system is, so you have some data at your hands. Get out of your house, go somewhere, either, go somewhere where you can stay and stay the night and give yourself a VIP restructuring day and just really go through everything. Go through the data, go through run your numbers and see, do an 80/20 on your business, see who's spending the most money, see if you can like see that they're a certain type of person, see if you can see that 20% of your clients is giving you 80% of your
Mm,
profit
mm-hmm.
and your joy. See if you can put them into a category, see if they have anything in common. Look through your menu, see what really lights you up. Where are you holding yourself back? Where are you not showing up? Where do you have stories going? Where are you saying, oh, I hate social media? Where are you saying like, oh, email is too complicated? There's no
Mm.
competition at the top. You have no competition. There's no competition. There's absolutely no competition. The only competition is with you, and you can take a look at your presence. If you've got a gloss genius that is got 10 menu items and you've got Klarna and Afterpay turned on, you're talking to a client that's not going to be investing at a high level. Let's
Mm,
look at your transformation promise. Do you have one? Can you say who you serve, what you solve, and how you transform the skin in a few sentences? Look at everything through the lens of like what is working and what isn't. And then don't be afraid to let some things go and don't be afraid to evolve. So don't be
yeah.
afraid to get mentorship and support. We can't do this alone. And it might be that you need to upgrade the rooms that you're hanging out in. It might be that you need to like look at your menu. I do advocate for having a signature facial ritual, but that doesn't mean you kill off the entire menu. Maybe if you have a good moneymaker and you like to do Brazilians and you get that face-to-face talking with your clients and it's fun and it's fast and you
Yeah.
make great money and keep that. But if you've got a bloated facial menu with 5 to 10 menu items that have a lot of back bar in it, just look, you don't need that. I was
Yeah.
making, 6 figures with 5 to 7 back bar products and a couple tools.
I
You
love
can do
that.
it.
I love that. That's great advice. So, for someone who wants to get mentorship and they're like, I'm ready to change, I love what you're saying, Amy. Tell us about your program, what it's like, how they can join, all the details.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, so my signature program is called Rich, the Rich Esthetician. And this was born out of just a lot of different things, but mainly the main themes of the internal like experience of the esthetician that I want to give to her is to be radiant, intentional, conscious, and high value. That's
Mm,
rich. And the pillars that I teach on are rituals, online rituals, in person rituals,
mm-hmm.
client rituals. We've got relationships, that's high touch clienteling, that's, how to serve, making, selling, serving, how to do that luxury clienteling. We've got reputation, that's your brand, that's your marketing, that is how your ideal high value client thinks of you. You don't need to have everybody loving you. You just need to
Mm-hmm.
stand out to the right person. And
Yeah.
then revenue, really like getting into all those different revenue streams and how to make money when you're not touching the client. That could be creating your own line of skincare products, that could be doing an online program. So those are the 4 pillars, those are the 4 qualities, and it's under $2,000. I think it's a screaming deal.
Yes.
I
And they'll
I
learn
will
how to
be
create their signature soul
all of
service,
it.
their
Yeah, and
signature facial ritual.
they'll create their signature facial ritual. It's an 8-week program. I will be taking 10 spots every month because it'll be just sort of, you know, um, it'll be open enrollment, but there'll be
Mm-hmm.
limited spots every month. And you can find out more at theskintessa.com and get on the waiting list. And hopefully you will be a guest speaker in the
I would
is
love
structure
to.
or
Yeah.
reputation. It'll be reputation and revenue.
Yes, I'd love to chat with your estheticians. So, thank you so much, Amy. We're going to leave a link to the Rich Esthetician program below and Amy's website. I learned so much. Thank you so much, Amy. I love that you are taking your passion and your mission and sharing it with so many people in a way that just it's totally new. And I feel like it's exactly what people need to hear right now. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on and sharing all your wisdom with us.
Thanks, Stephanie.
All right. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.